Hello everyone, it is December 17th, 2024. It's Tuesday. It's Harp Tuesday! Welcome to this week's episode. So today, I want to talk about something that I think is really important in terms of performance, and that is how you shape the ending of a piece. Because the piece is not over when you play the last note, you still want to think about how you want to shape that ending. And so, if it's a fast ending, this kind of, or maybe it's a quiet ending. This very intense ending. And even though we're no longer playing, we still are shaping and sustaining that sound through our movement. So, of course, if we were singing, or if we were playing a stringed instrument or a wind instrument, for example, we would still be doing something physical to create that sound, sustain that sound until it's over, until we decide to finish it. On the harp, we do that with our movement. So I want to talk about the movement of our hands and what we do with our eyes. Because I think what can happen sometimes is that for people who are maybe new to performing, they get to the end of a piece, phew, I'm done. It's that sense of once you play the last note, you're finished. And so to really instead think about how you want to shape that ending. And as I say, there's kind of two endings. There's like a fast aha ending and maybe a quieter, more intense ending. And in both cases, we want to use our hands to conduct, to show how we want that ending to go. Now, especially with a softer, intense ending, it can feel, or at least for me, it can feel like nothing's happening. I've been playing throughout all this time, and suddenly I'm not playing, and the audience, maybe they're getting bored, or but when I listen back, I never think, I waited too long to end the piece. But often I think, I could have waited a little bit longer. So don't be afraid to let something really, really last, because again, on these maybe softer, more intense endings, the whole piece is built to this point. And as the audience, we want to really enjoy that beautiful moment of letting everything kind of settle and sink in and experience that before, that's over, and then we get to clap and enjoy it. But yeah, so don't be afraid to take time. So I think the first step is to record yourself and think about, is that how long you want that last note to last? And then thinking about the physical aspect of that, how that works. So I would say 99% of the time, we're going to finish the piece by muffling. And in that case, most of the time, we're going to muffle like this, open hands, try to muffle as much as we can in this kind of area, right? This is the sort of the most resonant, or most, chances are these are the strings that are going to be ringing the most. We muffle, and then the left hand, if needed, can jump down. Right? Bump, bump. Sort of muffle and bounce and get this. If it's a soft, intense ending, the muffle is basically just a symbol that it's over, and we don't want to do some sort of like some sort of sudden intense jump at the end, but with something that's a little bit louder, where we do want to get rid of the sound at the end, you might do this with the left hand. In general, we don't need to worry about the upper strings so much because they don't last so long. So practicing that muffle, and then practicing the movement of the hands. We don't want to go, if we want to go, for example, let's say we want to go 1, 2, 3, we don't want to go 1, 2, 3. We want to go 1, 2, 3. Like conducting, we don't want to, this, even if we're not muffling, is kind of saying, stop, it's over. But 1, 2, 3. So don't open up the hands too early. With a fast ending like that, 1, 2, 3, the hands will open up kind of at the very last minute. If it's a slower ending, again, we don't want to go, but we can go. An ending that, a movement that makes sense, that is attached to the type of sound we're creating. And again, we wouldn't want to go, because that's all, we're not thinking about ending it yet. We're thinking about sustaining the sound. We're hearing the sound. And only when it's over do we move to muffle. So really, really important, the movement of the hand and how we shape the ending notes. And then thinking about our eyes. So again, even if we're using sheet music, if we go, again, even if our hands maybe, or, I think that's not anywhere near as captivating. It doesn't draw us in. It doesn't create as good an ending as if we are focused on our hands and the strings. So even if you're reading from the sheet music, once you get to that final chord, turn your focus to the strings. Or so in this case, try to memorize at least that last chord or two so that you can stay focused on the strings. I think that, to me at least, aesthetically, that really draws us in and captures us. And again, kind of shows us, it's like we're conducting the audience. It shows the audience what's happening and makes it really clear we're still involved in the piece. And then it's finally over. Now, I mentioned 99% of the time I will muffle. Sometimes if it's a very soft ending piece, maybe I'll just release the hands and then let the harp down to again show the piece is over. I'll give you an example of that. So that's kind of up to you what you want to naturally do or what looks good to you, experiment. But I think either option can work as long as it's clear that it's over. And again, I think resting the harp, if you don't muffle, it's good to bring the hands down and then let the harp. So that was not good, right? There was too much sound. It wasn't clear that it's over, right? That was too fast, but if I hold it that long, I could certainly go like this and I think it would be clear that it's over. Whereas if I wanted a bit shorter, I have to muffle, right? I don't think setting it down, that's not going to work, right? It's not going to work. But if the sound is basically all died away or whatever, then it might be that setting it down is fine. So something to be aware of. But again, I think you can't go wrong with a muffle. And and again, this ending, right, is so important. And I think it's also worth sort of thinking about that feeling, trying to, no matter what has happened in the midst of the piece, a million mistakes or absolutely perfect, when you get to the end, trying to feel and convey the emotion that you want, whether it's excitement or intensity and beauty. But to try and convey that, and again, maybe sometimes you feel that your playing hasn't been the standards you want, but that's okay. You can't change that, but by trying to project that feeling, that helps the audience feel that, and both of you, again, oftentimes, right, you listen back and you realize, oh, those mistakes weren't so bad. And so really trying to make sure that ending captures the emotion. And again, even if you completely mess up, maybe you can recover like that, and then, or again, like some sort of harder to play an extra note if it's a very fast ending, but if we went, if you have this, like, say, totally wrong chord, if you have that energy, that is what gets communicated, and the note, sure, it would have been nice if it was the right note, but we still communicate the energy and the feeling that we want to convey. So, yeah, I think really important to think about what the hands are doing and what the eyes are looking at the end of a piece. Hope you enjoyed that. I will see you soon for another episode of Harp Tuesday. Cheers.